Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me for today's webinar on improving evaluation of literacy instruction through the implementation of the science of reading. My name is Morgan Mason, and I am a professional learning specialist at Keep Indiana Learning. Over the past few years, I have immersed myself in training, research, and literature on the science of reading. The idea for this webinar series stemmed from a conversation with a colleague about the lack of emphasis on science of reading training for school evaluators and administrators. My goal for this two-part series is to provide valuable insights and practical strategies that will support you in your role as a school leader. Before we dive into the science of reading, let's take a moment to establish why this work is critical. Strong literacy instruction doesn't happen by chance. It requires intentionality. Observations and walkthroughs help us assess what's happening in classrooms, while reflection and planning allow us to refine instruction. By using evaluation data, we can determine the effectiveness of our literacy practices and make informed decisions to support student learning. Now, let's define the science of reading. It's a vast interdisciplinary body of research based on scientifically proven methods of reading instruction. While interpretations may vary, the key takeaway is that the most effective approach to teaching reading includes systematic and explicit instruction in the 5 essential components: phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. Although you're probably already familiar with these 5 pillars, I'd like to take a moment today to review each one as we work to refocus our efforts. Phonemic awareness is the ability to recognize and manipulate sounds in spoken words. This includes blending sounds into words, segmenting words into sounds, and deleting and playing with the sounds in spoken words. Phonemic awareness lays the groundwork for phonics by focusing on the auditory aspect of language. Children with strong phonemic awareness can more easily grasp the concept of phonics. Once a child can manipulate and identify individual sounds in spoken words, phonics instruction helps them understand the corresponding letters or letter combinations that represent those sounds in written words. For example, if a child can identify the separate sounds in the word cat, k, a, t, phonics instruction would then teach them that these sounds are represented by the letters C, A, and T. Fluency bridges word recognition and comprehension. It's not just about reading quickly. It involves reading with accuracy, automaticity, and proper expression, making the text more meaningful for students. A strong vocabulary allows students to understand and use words effectively in reading and writing. The more words students know, the better they comprehend texts across all subject areas. And finally, comprehension is the ultimate goal of reading. It involves making sense of text, drawing conclusions, and thinking critically. Without comprehension, reading becomes little more than just decoding words. So what does this look like in practice? Effective literacy instruction means embedding these 5 components into daily instruction in a systematic and explicit way. It also means creating a classroom environment where students are actively engaged in meaningful reading experiences. The document displayed here is a tool I've used with evaluators to quickly assess A, what's happening in the classroom, and B, the evaluator's current understanding of science of reading best practices. I suggest using this tool for quick classroom walkthroughs. Having a straightforward, easy-to-use document to assess what a literacy-rich classroom looks and sounds like not only helps evaluators gauge where they stand in their own understanding of the literacy, but also provides a clear framework for identifying areas of strength and growth. This process encourages deeper reflection, promotes consistency in evaluations, and fosters a shared understanding of what effective literacy practices look like in action. As a result, it supports more targeted feedback and helps educators refine their practices to better support student learning. Teacher evaluation should not be a separate entity from instructional improvement. It should be a tool that helps educators refine their literacy practices. Today, we'll explore how to align teacher behaviors, as seen on an evaluation rubric, with best practices in literacy instruction, ensuring that we expect from teachers truly reflects science of reading. Ultimately, adaptations may need to be made to evaluation rubrics to help support a more focused, evidence-based approach to literacy instruction. It helps both educators and evaluators stay focused on the foundational skills that contribute to lifelong reading success. I encourage you to think about how you can do some of this work in your own context and how it can help you further refine your expectations of teaching practices. Let's consider what a traditional rubric often focuses on. They might evaluate things like classroom management, student engagement, or lesson structure. While these elements are important, they don't always directly address the core of reading instruction, specifically how students are acquiring and applying the skills necessary for proficient reading. I used the Literacy Look-Fors walkthrough guide linked in the show notes when creating this model. This guide is a practical tool designed to assist administrators, literacy coaches, and teachers in establishing a common understanding of evidence-based literacy practices. Using the RISE evaluation rubric, I was able to identify which specific teacher behaviors aligned with the science of reading corresponded to each competency then found on the rubric. As you begin to do some of this work on your own, ask yourself, which competencies or descriptors in our evaluation rubric best align with effective literacy practices? What instructional behaviors should we consistently look for and listen for in literacy instruction? By making these connections, we create a more cohesive approach to evaluating and improving literacy instruction in our schools. Evaluation rubrics are packed with many terms and descriptors, but their true value lies in providing objective and accurate evidence rather than subjective interpretation. When used effectively, rubrics help eliminate evaluator bias, improve reliability across evaluators, and ultimately enhance the feedback we provide to teachers. Understanding these tools allow us to align observations with research-based literacy instruction. Next time, we will shift our focus from teacher behaviors to key student behaviors. What does highly effective literacy engagement look like in the classroom? What essential skills and strategies should we be observing in students to ensure literacy instruction is impactful? We'll also dive deeper into providing meaningful and actionable feedback to teachers and encouraging a culture of consistent literacy improvement. We'll break all this down in episode 2. Thank you for joining today's session. If you have any questions or would like to continue the conversation, feel free to reach out to me with the contact information provided. I'll see you next time.